Revisiting my dreams with the king. And mix it up and chop it up at the end of the episode to kind of add some flavor to it. If something unique happens, I might drop it in the middle of the episode. But
Oh,
this just just to break it up, man, break up the ice.
okay.
You graduated from Spelman. You graduated from Harvard as well and Temple.
That's right.
Okay, you got your master's from Temple, PhD from Harvard. How does that work?
No PhD. So,
I'm gonna let you expound on that. I just want to make sure that my math is math and correctly when I start introducing you.
like, I listen to kids and what their dreams are. And then based on what their dreams are, we create a plan of action.
That's
So,
perfect. If you were interviewing
Mhm.
me and you forgot to say he's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, I would tell you right now, don't add that in there. Or if you're interviewing me and you forgot to say he was a hospitality professional, I would leave that in there.
Okay, so what I do sometimes I just like to be quiet and then pretend like whatever, and then when people find out what I am, then
Yeah,
I just
let's
start
go.
kind of
I
chuckle. That is.
You gonna talk about your Oakland roots?
Oh
You
yes, I
got you
mean
got
that's what
ties to
made
you got
me.
you got ties to the Panthers
I mean, I was always over
influence
there. That's what helped shape me. I
for
would be
sure.
going to after school programs right next door to where they used to feed kids breakfast.
hmm
Yes.
hmm
You know, went to school with Panther kids.
of the episode, so you don't get caught
I'm
up.
excited. I'm season 3.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
I'm
it. We
excited.
open bigger and better, growing. That's how I look at it. A new season opens up new opportunities. New relationships and everything. So,
Yeah, but it's not a new relationship. We go way back
uh,
to Tanner, so you
I,
gotta tell them
oh,
that.
it'll be evident for sure. Yo, good people, welcome to the ride, a journey to your dreams. I'm your host, Johnny King III, aka Still Chill Leroy, and this is season 3 of Revisit Your Dreams, right here on the Revisit Your Dreams channel on YouTube.com. As always, just like in season 2 and season 1, I have a very special guest to introduce to you today. But I like to start off each show by reminding you what we're doing here at Revisit Your Dreams. Here on the ride, we provide inspiration, encouragement, motivation. We explore real life stories of trial, error, and success, and maybe even provide a few laughs along the way. Again, this is season 3 of the Revisit Your Dreams podcast. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you to each one of our subscribers for subscribing. We just last year in December we just reached 100 subscribers, so it's a very good time. I was very excited about that. I thank you guys for tuning into these episodes. I hope you're being inspired. My goal is to continue to bring guests to you that have content in their lives that will inspire you and help shape your direction of your future going forward. Today's episode is titled The Right Education Can Unlock Your Future. My very special guest today was born in Oakland, California, grew up in Vallejo, California, and now resides in Atlanta, Georgia. She is a founder and CEO of Education Innovations LLC, an independent company seeking to help students of all ages and backgrounds get into the right education system for their desired discipline, expected outcomes, and financial requirements. We'll have her expand on what she does even more very soon. Her company was recently nominated a Best of Georgia Business Organization for its work in helping families in the area of educational resources. She earned her undergraduate degree from Spelman College, an HBCU in Atlanta, Georgia, and went on to study African American Studies at Temple University and Education Policy and Management at Harvard. She is a former teaching fellow at Harvard University and their Africana Studies Department. She served in a variety of leadership roles with KIPP Academy, the School District of Philadelphia, and at Morehouse College. She is the first African American appointed to the Rex and Parks Commission in the city of Roswell, Georgia. She's a highly ambitious servant, grounded in progress and the future of those that she serves. Please welcome to the show my very special guest, my homegirl from the V, Amour Carthy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm happy to be here and excited about our conversation.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you. I'm glad that we're doing this. We've been trying to get this together for a minute. We rescheduled a couple times, but we here now, right?
Right, we're here.
That's right. We're rolling off the top of the new year with this episode. So thank you for being here again. Thank you for tuning in. Um, I like to start off each episode by letting the audience know how I know each guest. Each guest is someone that I know personally. Each guest I interview, I know them personally. Some of them I went to high school with, went to college with. I've either worked with them before, coached with them, coached their kids, something of that capacity. Might be fraternity members, something like that. This individual, we went to high school together at Vallejo Senior High School. We traveled the country together with the Tanner Project, now the Willie B. Atkins Project. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. A down in the A, right where you are, or more. And I just remember having some conversations with her in Tanner, her and her or I won't say twin sister, but her and her sister. I always thought they was twins because they look so much alike. I always thought
Irish twins.
yeah, I always thought they were twins. But your recollection or more on and feedback on how we met or our previous relationship.
I don't even remember how we met, but I do remember like being in the Tanner Project, us being in that after school program, working on preparing to get into college,
Hmm.
and in the Tanner Project having strong like mentors that were preparing us, teaching us, how to make good first impressions, how to speak well, how to, write well, and then just giving us access and taking us to visit HBCUs and telling us about their experience. I mean, I don't I don't think in the Bay Area there was any school district like that and a program like that. So, I mean, shout out to the Tanner Project at Vallejo Senior High School at the time. Like you said, now Willie B. Atkins Project. Without that, I mean, I don't think that I would have had that kind of access.
Yeah, yeah. Having gone to an HBCU, you did the same.
Mhm.
I know so many people that come from so many different places, and I've none of them had the experiences that we had. I haven't talked to anybody that said, "Yeah, I was part of a group that toured us
Mhm.
around the country and showed us HBCUs." Like
Yep.
we had that experience. So I mean, it's very admirable of Mr. and Mrs. Atkins to lead up the charge to take a whole bunch of
Mhm.
16, 17 year olds around the country. Maybe five adults and about 40 or 50 kids, and some of us was acting a fool sometimes.
Right, but they were strict.
You know what I mean? We got some people almost get sent home, you know what I mean?
Right.
Breaking the rules, all kind of stuff. So, but those are fun trips and fun times, man. They definitely help to grow us, to mature us, and to bond us. Bring us closer together, which is why we still have a little
Right.
camaraderie here today, just because from that
Yes.
experience.
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and get into it. I got a slate of questions for you, and I hope audience that you're ready to learn and be inspired. All right, I'm just gonna straight up ask you. Congrats on your Spelman education and your education at Temple. We'll talk about those shortly. But what I want
Okay.
to know is how in the world did you make the path to Harvard, starting out as a high school student in Oakland, California, graduating from the itty bitty city high school in Vallejo, California, going to a HBCU, private girls HBCU in Atlanta, Georgia? How did you find your way to Harvard University?
How did I find my way to, Harvard University? Well, they usually say that you go to a black Ivy and then you go to the regular Ivy. So one thing that, people will try to, say that HBCUs aren't quality, but they are. Me and you know that because we went.
Hmm.
And that they instill a certain belief in you and then give you the foundational education that you cannot get anywhere in the world, period. And so Spelman instilled a certain belief, gave me the certain skills that I could walk into any room,
Hmm.
and gave me the foundational education that I could change or I could change the world, period. So our motto right now at Spelman is a choice to change the world. And so I didn't go straight off to Harvard, I went straight off to Temple, and then I worked for 10 years. What happened was, as a teacher, I got frustrated. And when I say I got frustrated, I was teaching in Atlanta Public Schools. You probably heard about the cheating scandal.
Mhm.
And I just kept thinking to myself, whoever is making these policies or these laws, they don't know what's going on in the school system.
Mhm.
And they're making these laws and policies as if it were in the 1950s. And then I started looking at the politicians and the people, and I was just like, they don't look like me. They don't look like the teachers. They don't look like the kids. They don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
And so if I want things to change, I'm going to have to do something about it. And the way that I'm gonna have to do something about it is I need to get to the place that influences these policies and where I could rub shoulders with the people who change the policies in this country.
Mm.
And so that's how I applied to Harvard and I got in, and that was my whole goal. So my actual kind of like, advisor ended up becoming the Secretary of Education for Massachusetts, Professor Revel, and then another mentor of mine was, Dr. Payzant, who was, the former superintendent of Boston, public schools, and we became, pretty, close because, he was a white man, but what I said to him in class, nobody was probably willing to say. I mean, I was one of a few black folks in there, but I said to him, and I remember I said in class, "Look here." I said, "Look here. I'm trying to change policies, and I'm gonna be straight up with you. Most of the people that are making these policies don't look like me. They're white men like you, and they're old. And I need to know what I can say to change their minds so that they will change policies that will affect young people that look like that are black and brown. How can I do that?" And so I think he was startled and surprised. And so after, we had a conversation and then we started talking about his life, we became close. And then he just started telling me about the trajectory of his life. And then, he just started kind of mentoring me. And then that's how I ended up, also getting into politics. So I actually, when I came back down to Georgia, after going to Harvard, I was the ed policy advisor for, a representative in the Georgia House, and what I found was I really did think that, um, legislatures or, policymakers were making the policies, but it's not like that. You know who's actually making the policies? It's lobbyists,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Ah!" You know,
New
I need
angle.
to change my approach, and then I just saw so many different things. So I said, "I need to find a different way to change policies." So I figured out, how can I affect change, but not just in schools, but how can I affect young people? And then that's how I got into, like, the recs and parks and stuff like that.
That's an amazing pathway to how you actually got into, to Harvard, and you touched on it exact. You started off your response kind of where I was going in my head with it when you said you talked about. I don't know. I can't remember the exact terminology you used, but if you're going to go to Spelman, the kind of you know the high profile HBCU, why not carry it through to high
That's right.
profile PWI in your postgraduate, studies. And I envisioned that when I was looking at your resume. I said, man, she went to Spelman. All right, Spelman is like, you know, the Har Spelman and Morehouse are like the Harvard of HBCUs. And then you took it to
Mhm.
Temple, and then Temple is a step up. Temple's in that same grouping a little bit, and then
But let me tell you why I went to, Temple.
mhm,
So, I went to Temple because I was gonna go into teaching, right? And, I wanted to make sure that I had, the background of understanding for African American studies. So I knew I was gonna go teach in public schools where Black and brown students were. So I already concentrated in Latin American studies, so I wanted to have the background in African American studies. So the top-notch program was, and the only place you could get a PhD in African American studies that was based in history, was Temple University. So that was the top school. So all those other programs at Yale or whatever, they were based in literature. I
Yeah.
was not trying to teach no literature.
Right.
I was trying to teach history.
History.
So that's why I went to
You
Temple,
had
which
a
was the number one. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Mhm.
Yes, you had what I was getting at too is you had a very clear path. If you're watching, I hope that this point might inspire you. Amora started off with a passion in her heart to make change, and she learned some things about herself and about her people, and she learned some things about how she can impact that change. And she decided on a pathway that was going to get her to the point where she can impact that change. She realized along the way that in order to really make change, she needed to take certain specific steps. And she sought out the people and the resources to put action to those specific steps. And that is the epitome of one, revisiting your dreams, but two, making change, impacting change, influencing change from the inside out, and following your passions. She didn't do this because she thought it was a good idea. She didn't do this because it made a lot of money. She did this because she wants to make a change, and she knows that the best way to do it is to go right to the source. So she told you how she did it. She told you what the source was. And so now she's sitting in the seat, making that change and more. I think that's great. To I don't know how many of our people are willing. I know people would accept, an invitation to the University of Harvard, but I don't know how many people are willing to take the steps that you took while you were there, meeting the people you met, saying what you said to the people you said it to, with the intent of, impacting change, how you're doing right now.
And then I don't think people understand too, when I was at Harvard, I was a single mom. So, I had my 8-year-old son with me.
Wow.
So, I think there was only one other lady
Hmm.
who was a single mom, but she had 2 kids. I had, my son. So, that was difficult in itself. But again, you when people see you working hard and then you share what you're trying to do, they cheer you on. So, another professor, Dr. Mapp, Karen Mapp, she was like my cheerleader. And I remember going in her office and, I just it was it Harvard was it was hard.
Hmm.
And I just remember breaking down, I just didn't know how I was gonna, do it and make it through. And she said, there's a church. There's a church down the street, and I think they can help you. And it was the First AME church down in Cambridge. And I went to that church after. And they took care of my son every Saturday. And if it wasn't for that church, I would not have made it through.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. Shout out to the church body, man, because the church definitely is did for you what the church was originally designed to do, is to be a
that's right.
house for the people, and
Mhm,
to help support the ambitions and needs of their people.
mhm,
Amazing testimony. I got more questions for you. Where does
mhm.
your passion come from and your drive for higher education come from? You touched on it with the last response a little bit, but where does that drive to impact people? That drive and passion drove you to Harvard University because you thought that that was the place that's going to get you in the right spaces and get you the information you needed to make an impact. But where does the drive for helping people, to helping change people, come from?
So I think it also comes from, my dad, he was a staunch Catholic. And so we would go to church, but we would also volunteer. Um, and so the other part of it was I went to Catholic school all the way till I came to Vallejo. And when I came to Vallejo High School, which was a public school, I didn't understand why there were people that were being tracked. And so in my, private school and Catholic school, I just felt like everybody, you know, all the teachers were talking to them as like, you can change the world, you can do anything you want. And then so I couldn't understand in public school why people were being put, in, the low level tracks, vocational tracks. And I was like, that's some crazy stuff. And then I looked around and I was like, why am I one of only a few Black folks that are in the honors classes? And I just was like, this is crazy. Cause I was just like, I know some really smart people but it feels like people are being tracked. And so that made me upset.
Mm,
And so I was just like, everyone should have a chance and everyone should be able to be believed in and, talked up like you can do anything that you want. So that drove me.
mm,
Um, Vallejo was an amazing school. We had amazing teachers, but I just felt like everyone should have access to those teachers. So, like, for example, Miss Cheney,
mhm,
Mr. Anchor, and I forgot the biology teacher's name. They should have been teaching at a college level. Like
mhm,
after junior year, I felt like I could have went to college. They were so good. But not everyone had access to those teachers.
mhm,
And I was just like, this something's got to change. And maybe I can do that by being a teacher. And then originally my plan was to be a teacher and then be a counselor.
mhm.
And then and maybe I'll be a principal, you know, and all that kind of stuff changed. I mean, I did become a dean of a school, but things changed because I wanted to make more of a change, at the district level.
Right.
Um, so yeah. So that's where my burning desire came from. And then my dad never said it, but he would tell me stories. And then my grandmother from Louisiana, she had a third grade education. So when I graduated from Spelman, I remember that she sent me a card and it was, scribbled, but it meant so much to me, that she took her time to write out how proud she was of me.
Mhm,
Um, so that meant a lot to me. And then my grandfather on my dad's side hadn't graduated. My mom's an immigrant from Singapore. She graduated from high school. So and then of course learning our history, I just was like, we didn't have access to education. And so I believe it's something that is our birthright.
mhm.
And everyone should have a quality education and access. And so that's what drives me
So
because that usually leads to different outcomes. So when I say education, what you have access and are exposed to can possibly determine your outcomes.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, it sounds like it did in your case. Meaning, your outcome and what you're doing right now was fueled by what you envisioned when you were in high school. It started, coming from Oakland. Seeing
Mhm.
like you said, you went to school right next door to the Panther kids. You know what I'm saying? You went to
Yep.
school with the Panther kids. You played with Panther
Oh, but
kids. You know,
let me can I interrupt real quick?
yes.
So when I went to Catholic school, my bonus mom begged this after school program to let us in,
Mhm,
and it was for public school kids.
mhm,
And so that program was called Project Interface, and it was right next to the old Panther headquarters in East Oakland, where they used to, feed the kids for breakfast.
mhm,
Um, but again, if that was my first time seeing college students from UC Berkeley, and they would tutor us, and like, I was like, "What do I need this for?" But it was interesting hearing, public school kids, about their experience. I'm like, "It's definitely not like that at, private school." So I just was like, "Whoa," like, "Wow, like, that's what it's like over there? That's wild."
yeah. But man, it's just great that the path that you've taken and how you gotten started. That so many years later, that same passion drives you. That same passion that when you came to Vallejo High School and you saw that people were being treated a little bit differently, that people weren't given the same opportunities, and you're out here, you created a path for yourself to position yourself to be able to right the ship a little bit, for the people that you come into contact with and you serve. So I think that's very commendable. Your business, Education Innovations. Talk about what you do, who you serve, and why viewers might benefit from working with you.
Okay. So, education innovations, I would kind of say we are like a boutique, like education consulting company where we work with kids usually from ninth through all the way till their early 20s. And we help guide students and their families' journeys through college admissions to life beyond. And the reason why I say college admissions, because what we try to do is, help guide you and expose the families and the students to different opportunities. So when you're in ninth grade, of course, you don't know what you want to do, but we help you with your executive functioning skills, time management, how to build relationship with your peers, your teachers, because a lot of people don't understand and families don't understand that those teachers are making judgments about you, but they can also determine the outcomes of your life, right? Because you will need those recommendations to get into summer programs, to get into colleges. And so we also recommend summer programs and pick out summer programs based on your interests. Say you tell us like you're interested in trying to learn the guitar. So we find programs for you to learn how to play the guitar. Or hey, you saw some race car thing and you want to, get into the dynamics of race car driving. We'll find a program for you on that. So what we do is we help expose students and families to different things that they might be interested in, help do timelines, make sure that they're not scrambling at the end of their, right at the start of their senior year, trying to get into college because they haven't had a plan
Mhm.
to prepare for the money aspect as well as getting in. And then, how to choose their major, and then gaining experience so that they're prepared to get a job and or build their businesses. So that's how we do it. All of our stuff is online, one-on-one. So a lot of our coaches, I've mentored maybe for 10 or 15 years. Some of them have PhDs. Some of them are in college, but they are all vetted by me and they're amazing. So, even though they're called also college coaches, some of them have doctorate degrees,
That's
you know.
amazing. So okay,
Yep.
so this is bigger than just you. You have a staff
Yeah.
of counselors that work with high school students. So all right, that's good to know. I didn't know that, but I'm very impressed by that. What at what grade do you start working with students, and then how far into their post high school graduation or post high school education do you keep working with them?
So we start working with kids as early as ninth grade. We find that as a sweet spot. If they're mature, maybe eighth grade.
Hmm.
And then we work with them all the way through graduate school,
Okay.
you know, or their early career. So I work with students also. I work with mostly the college students, right?
Mhm.
Um, so, they could be preparing for their graduate degree or getting a job or, also building their skills. So, for example, if someone's trying to get into the film industry, what are they doing to build their skills? So, I'll be on them like, you have a brand. Have you been, making movies? What scripts have you written? So, I'm kind of like that, or we're kind of like that.
Push that
Where are the skills,
driver.
right? If you say that you're gonna be doing this, what are you doing to, do it?
Mhm.
So we make sure that they're on task to say, whatever they say they're gonna do, they do it.
That's
Because
outstanding.
you can't say, "Oh, I'm gonna be," um, you know, there's this one young man, he said he wanted to be the next Stephen A. Okay, well, he's on path to be the next Stephen A. You could go look him up. His name is Miles Johnson,
Mhm.
right? So when he was in college, I was also helping him get into graduate school while building his platform.
Mhm.
So, now when he walks around, people stop him because he is on point with his, content
Mhm.
for, social media and then commenting on sports. So he's known for commenting on all Philly sports. But then I also helped him get into graduate school
Oh,
and also graduate from Morehouse. But he also got full rides into Syracuse Journalism School and NYU Journalism School. So he graduated. But because we helped him get in there, he got a job right out of graduate school. And guess what his position is? Associate director or producer. That's unheard of.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Man, that's great work. That's the type of stuff that people want to hear. That's the type of support that people want to help carry their dreams forward. I didn't know the extent of what you did, Amor, and
that's only one, because I have another young man, he wants to be a movie producer.
yeah,
So, again, helped him graduate from Morehouse. He's now at the best film school, he's at USC,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Like, meeting like, what's the guy who made Star Wars?
Lucas,
So he met
George
him.
Lucas. Yeah,
So he meeting him. He working at Sony, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, so, like, we get the best, we do the best. we help kids believe in themselves. So I say it's not just doing the work, but it's changing the mindset. So we also had one young lady, she didn't believe that she could get into Ivy Leagues and she was in undergrad. And I was like, girl, please, you are Ivy League material.
Yeah.
Did she get into Ivy Leagues? Yes, she did.
See, you
She
you
was like,
put
oh, shoot.
Yeah. You're a driver. It sounds like, you're driving these kids' ambition and actually presenting something to them that they might not even be aware that they're capable of or that they can attain. And because you've done it, because you went to Spelman, because you went to Temple, because you went to Harvard, the highest levels of education at those institutions, and sorry, my audio went out for a second. You've also went did through the experiences of raising your your son and being younger, that you have the testimony, you
Yep,
have um, the experience that to show them the proof is in your life and your experience that you can go. So that's amazing. That's very encouraging to hear that you're inspiring and helping that many people in those ways. It's more than, if you're watching, it's more than just, her company is more than just helping people place people into colleges or get people
that's
into
right.
colleges. You can do that really on your own. You can apply for
Yep,
colleges on your own, but to get into the spaces that you want to get into, the programs you want to get into, the disciplines you want to get into, the schools you want to get into, or even be exposed to schools that you didn't think you could get into, that is where education innovations comes into play. More, I think that's great because you're carrying forth what Willie B. Atkins, Mr. and
that's
Miss
right.
Atkins did for us. You're carrying it forward,
Mhm.
maybe in a slightly different way, but you're
Yep.
doing it. So that's very commendable.
Mhm. It's
Um,
those relationships that matter and that network.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's worked for
Mhm.
you, for sure.
Mhm.
You attended both an HBCU in one of the meccas of HBCU clusters, the AU Center. You
That's
attended
right.
the PWIs, Temple, and Harvard. In the Black
Mhm.
college system, Spelman and Morehouse are sort of like our versions of the elite education, or those Ivy League schools. Talk about your
Mhm.
HBCU experience and how it compares to your experiences at the other institutions.
So my HBCU experience, it was like freedom. Like I didn't have to worry about sexism. I didn't have to worry about racism. I could just be.
Mhm.
I didn't have to worry about people asking me like crazy questions like, do I wash my hair? Like, what do all black people
Can
think?
I
Like,
touch
it
it?
was such freedom. Like, I mean, it was the best 4 years of my life. If you are black and can go to a black college, go ahead and do it. You will be so free. It
100.
was amazing. Um, there was sisterhood, and I believe like not everybody is like me. Some people were people who acted like Whitley. I'm not like Whitley. If you can see,
It's
I
a
am a
different
bubbly
world.
personality. But I believe whatever you put out there, you attract, right? So, um, people who are similar to me, talk to me, but I talk to everybody, so like it doesn't matter. Um, but I was able to also hang out with people from Clark Atlanta, from Morehouse, from Morris Brown, go to Emory, go to study to Georgia Tech, Georgia State. So it just was amazing. So Spelman allowed me also to make strong connections with the professors, and I mean I wouldn't change it for the world. Like it was top tier. Oh my god, it was top tier. Um, but at the same time, it was, expensive. But again, if you share your story and you're in the right places at the right time, I call it the money hall. I was in the Rockefeller Hall,
Mhm.
talking about I was working late and some lady came up to me and she was like, "Well, why were you working till 2 a.m.?" I said, "Look, Imma just be real with you. I wasn't trying to be no stripper, so I'm working 2 to 3 jobs." And she was just like, "Well, do you want a, scholarship?" And I wanted to say, "Hell yeah." And I was like, "Absolutely." And so I didn't know who she was. She was actually the dean of the school, and so I became the first UPS scholar, in
Wow.
19 I think it was 1994 or 95, and so that's how I paid for my tuition. So all I had to do was, figure out my room and board.
Just for
So
being
I b
honest. You were just being
yes.
honest, you know? She like, "What you doing?" You like, I just ain't trying to be no stripper, so if I gotta work, I gotta work." She was like, "I don't want you being no stripper. I'm finna give you a scholarship."
Right. I was like, "Let's do it."
That's dope.
So, so I just had to figure out, I would literally work, jobs, that were like waitressing or something like that so I could get free, food for every shift.
Mhm.
And then I'd also research for, professors to build my skill, so that I could, go to graduate school in that. So, I learned so much. It was amazing. And then when I went to, Temple, it was like, okay, this is a little bit different. It's a public university. They're really loud in the library. Okay. They're not as close and they like fight against each other. I'd never seen like black people fight against each other. When
Mm,
I say fight against each other, like they're fighting for crumbs. Like I'm like,
yeah.
what's going on here?
Definitely
So
not
I
a
just was
HBCU experience.
yeah, so I just was like, "Okay, Imma get out of here quicker than 2 years." So I did my, master's in 11 months. So that was really interesting. At Harvard, it was pretty good, but again, because the first person who approached me actually at Harvard was an older black man. I didn't know who he was. He happened to be a Morehouse graduate,
Oh, that's
and he
dope.
was faculty,
That's
and he
dope.
said he would look out for me. So I made my connections there with HBCU grads, but then also it was an amazing experience because you had international people and you were allowed to take classes at other schools. So my first class was actually at Harvard Law School. And then I also took some classes at Harvard Kennedy School. And then we had some business professors. So that was amazing. The access and the different people. I was scared at first because I thought, oh gosh, people are going to be like really hoity-toity, but they're all
Mhm,
down to earth.
mhm,
It's just the undergraduates that act like that. But it was again a great experience. But being in Boston, they're not as warm as in the South.
mhm,
So I was happy my program was only a year because there's nothing like an HBCU experience, the warmth.
mhm.
I had a great time at Harvard. The only difference is, yes, they have a lot of money, but I was ready to go back home
Yeah.
to Atlanta. Yeah, so
Man, I thank you for sharing those experiences. Some poignant things that you pointed out. You went to Harvard, and the first person you met was a black man who was a graduate of Morehouse, the school right across the street from the one you graduated from in Atlanta at Spelman. That right there is a testament alone that even at the highest levels of education, some of the professors there are being educated at HBCUs. I mean, so to dismiss the quality of an HBCU education when some of our brightest are teaching at the highest, education levels in the country. I mean, I don't know how you can deny the power of a HBCU education on top of the life experiences that it gives you, that connection that it gave you just because you went to an HBCU. That man said, "I'm going to take care of you." You could have went to Clark or Morris Brown. He probably would have said the same thing. You
he
know,
sure would have,
it
because
did.
we looked out for each other, HBCU students at, the Ivy Leagues, we had a connection,
Mhm.
and so we also had our Black student unions. So it was interesting, the Black students who went to PWIs, they would always comment like, "Wow, I didn't know that, you guys" they would say, like, crazy stuff like, "I didn't know that you guys could be so smart at HBCUs. I didn't know it was like that." Like, it was like, "What did
That's
you
it.
think we do at our schools?"
Right. It's a school just like yours. We got professors educated just like you. Probably a little bit more educated in some fronts, We just don't get the levels of
Right,
respect, but it's there. That's
right.
that's just dope. To be able to, I went to one HBCU and I only went to one college. I didn't go to multiple colleges, so I don't have that experience. And most people that go to college only go to one college. There are some
Mhm,
people that go into graduate school and go to a different school, but even those who go into graduate school a lot of times will go to the same college that they went to their undergrad to get their graduate degrees. So
mhm.
thank you for sharing that, the diversity experience that you made it real and hit home when you said Temple, they were all yelling in the in the lunchroom or whatever. That's totally different than what you. I mean, at a HBCU, it might be loud, but we ain't yelling. It's loud just
Right, I
because
was
it's
like,
fun energy in there.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
We're not
I'm like,
fighting
"We in
each
a
other.
library?"
In a
I'm like, "We in a
library?
library?"
Oh,
Yes,
do
I
that
was
at
like,
HBCU, and somebody in that library that's older than you is gonna cuss you.
I was just like, "Oh, is this how y'all do it at public PWIs?" Oh.
For real, like
I was
that's how we doing it.
confused.
Oh, okay. Y'all
Yes.
operate on a different set of rules over here.
I was
I
like,
couldn't get away
"Wow."
with this at Spelman or
Yeah,
Tennessee
I'm
State
just like,
University, and we a party school.
right, right. And I do have to tell you, when I went to a reunion one year, for Black students at, Harvard, it was so interesting because the Black men said, and they said this really loud, they said, "I wish that we could brag about going to Harvard like the Morehouse men brag about going to Morehouse." And I thought that was so true because one thing that is interesting about going to not Morehouse, but Harvard, that people don't speak about is that usually as a Harvard grad, Black people, we could speak about it, but we usually don't speak about it or, talk about it.
Mhm.
Because what you find is that we call it the H bomb. Once you drop the H bomb,
The H bomb.
people's insecurities come out.
Mhm.
I never expected that,
On
but we
both
we
on
talk
both
about that.
sides of the color line, probably, huh?
Yes, and it's like, "What?" I mean, I remember when I had a license plate and somebody was like, "Well, this is a white guy, you know, I mean, I'm not as smart as you." And I'm like, in my mind, like, am does he want me to comment?
Right.
Like, or
I don't.
or
What
if
you
I
want me to
had a
say to
shirt
that?
on, yeah, or if I had a shirt on, "Oh, who went there?" I'm like,
I'm not
"Yeah,
wearing a shirt for nothing. I mean, how
yeah."
many black people you walk around seeing wearing a Harvard shirt for real? So that must indicate something. I mean, we ain't just walking. You don't see Harvard shirts in the Goodwill thrift store. So I didn't just buy this from. I didn't go online to Harvard.com and order a shirt from them just because I like their colors.
And so that is another thing, but the one thing that I will say, no matter, if you go on to graduate school, is one thing I will always rep is my HBC Spelman. You gonna see, you go into my closet, what's represented no matter what, it's my Spelman.
For
I'm gonna
sure.
be represented Spelman no matter what.
Yes, for sure. That's I mean, I just it's interesting, it's definitely interesting to me. I know a few people who have taken some of those paths that have gone to, PWIs as well, and to even to some of the Ivy League schools after, going to an HBCU. But that's a very interesting pathway of more. And to me, it's even to me, it kind of spells out even more reason why you're on the path that you're on with helping people because you've seen it from both sides of the fence. You've seen it from the top, the bottom, left, and right. From every angle. With you being of mixed race yourself, you also have the ability to look at it through a different lens than most black people or white people would look at it. So you're looking at it from a global perspective, um, while keeping your African American roots close to heart, and still representing in that space. Like you said, represent Spelman on Harvard campus. You know.
That's right. I mean, and people just have to know, like, it to me too, what I love about my company and then just in this being in this space is I just want people to know, especially young people, that you could do anything that you want. You just have to believe it. Once you believe it, everybody else believes it.
Hmm.
And so that's what we do. We help you instill and understand that you can believe in yourself. And then once you believe it, everybody else does.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because nobody's gonna believe in you if you don't even have the confidence in yourself. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
We help you do the work, but we help you believe in yourself. Just I want people to understand those people are smarter than you at these little Ivy League schools. Like, if you these people are not
They don't
smarter
have
than
it figured
you.
out. They don't
They
have
are
it
not
figured
smarter than
out.
you.
They're not. A lot. I mean, you find, I met people from that have gone to those institutions, and had conversation with them before I knew that they went to those institutions. And when they found out where I went to school, the conversation changes a little bit. Like, wait a minute, I didn't know who I was talking to. Well, I'm just as educated as you are. Just because I went to Tennessee State University doesn't mean I don't know the same things you know. You know, that's powerful. Um, you like myself graduated from Vallejo High School, although you started your education in Oakland. But so many people have come out of Vallejo and gone on to do bigger and better things. Whether it's being going on to a HBCU out of state, going on to play professional sports, going on to act, going on to sing, going on to do amazing things in the business world. We know many of them. We've talked about some of them on this episode already. What is it though about Vallejo, do you think, that drives many of its people to succeed in the areas of sports, music, entertainment, and business?
I mean I just think that it's in the as Bay Area people, it's in the soil. You just
Soil.
it's there. Like, I remember literally the first week that I moved to Vallejo, you know who I ran into?
Ooh.
The Click, because their studio was around the corner. I didn't know who these people were. I was
Mhm.
like, "These people are in the studio every day." I
Yeah.
had got a job at, Church's Chicken. I was like, "Sick With It Records, who are these
Yeah.
people?" But they used to be working hard, and I just think that Vallejo has it in the soil. There's a hustle about Vallejo, and it's a, like, "I'm gonna make it."
Mhm.
It's by any means necessary. There is no room for failure, and there's a type of excellence, that is ingrained in you. I mean, we had, like I said, we had access to, or at least, me and you did,
Mhm.
Vallejo and Vallejo High School. We had access to quality teachers, and that library,
Mhm.
Miss Lane was the librarian, and I was the little librarian, helper. She put me on game, and she would give me also Black Panther, books,
Dope.
and that's who instilled, like, another level of love for Black history,
Mhm.
and I think that's why I became a history major also, is because of her, because she kept putting books in my hand. She put, Spitting in the Wind was one book that I read. Um, The Big Sea by Langston Hughes. So she was constantly, saying, "Hey, you should." I'd be like, "I don't know what to read." She putting these books in my hand. I was like, "Dang," you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Gaming you up.
So the willingness to share, look at, Mr. Atkins, and just everybody felt like they were doing something. And then when I go hang out, I was a nerd, so I go hang out at the library, downtown. So again, it's just in the soil. Everybody's doing something.
Mhm.
Like, if you're not doing something, it's kinda like, What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's always doing something.
I kind of admired that about you, and your sister, but y'all both, you said it. I didn't say it. Y'all both lightweight nerds, but but I always admired that about you guys. I was like, man, them girls smart as hell, man.
I
That's
used
why
to carry around a dictionary
I
in my
know.
purse.
I used to be like, man, she's a little bit weird too, but man, she's smart as hell. I was always impressed by it. Like people would talk about it in my mind. I'd be like, man, carrying around a dictionary.
Oh, people would talk
But
about it. What would
I
I didn't know anybody
in
noticed.
Tanner, we knew. At least I did. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know I observed it, and we might have had some conversations about it, but it was all in fun. Nobody was talking bad about you or not.
Do you know why I always carried around that dictionary?
What was that?
It was because, Miss Cheney was the Black, English teacher,
Mm,
and she would say words that I didn't know. And so I was just like, I can't be caught off guard not knowing a word. So I'm gonna always carry this dictionary with me, and I'm not gonna be embarrassed.
and ain't nothing
And then
wrong with
it
that. We thought
and
you.
then I would
Go ahead.
and then I would take so long to read a book, I'd always carry books. So again, Miss Lane, so I remember carrying around the biography of Malcolm X, and it just would take me a long time to read the book, so I'd always have it in my purse.
You going back and forth to the dictionary,
Yeah.
like, what's that mean? There's nothing wrong with that. That's the best way to learn. And though you made sacrifices as a kid, as a young high school student that a lot of people wouldn't make just out of fear of being teased. or fear of being called,
Oh, I didn't care.
being, I know, and it led you to where you are. I mean, you're one of the smartest people in the country. You know what I'm saying? Because
What
of it.
else y'all say about me? So it's
No,
funny
no,
because
no. We
I
don't
never
get no
cared.
complex because nobody was. I don't remember like having a boatload of conversations about him or anything like that. It's not like that.
But you know what I was really surprised at Vallejo because I was really you all had cliques too. I mean, like I was always a wanderer. I talked to everybody, but I
Hmm.
was surprised that you all at Vallejo High voted me because I was so nerdy, homecoming queen, and then the most likely to succeed. I mean, I understood that,
Hmm.
but homecoming queen, I was like, y'all really like me,
Yeah,
you know. I mean, I even got the store from a I mean, my dress from a thrift shop. That's how, like,
yeah.
nerdy and broke I
We
was.
messed with him more, man. We knew that, while you might have been on a little bit of the book side, you were about what you were about, and you and your sister, you guys are cute girls, so it went along with the flow, like homecoming queen, smartest person, running for office, you know, you don't see her getting in no trouble, that's what it is.
I used to cut school and wave at the, principal, "Bye."
See,
Y'all probably didn't know. I
right,
used
we
to cut
didn't know
every
that.
single
She was
once a
like, "I'm the
month,
smartest
"Bye."
person in here. They ain't gonna even recognize I'm gone."
Exactly. I was like, "Whatever. I got good grades.
Right, say
Bye."
something. That's dope. That's funny, man. See, you did stuff that I wouldn't do. Like I ain't cut school. Well,
I
I
had too
yeah,
much
yeah,
work.
yeah, I did. I
I
did.
used to stay up till 1 to 2 AM, in my senior
See, you
year,
wasn't cutting to
trying to
do
fill a
dirt. You
scholarship.
was cutting to go get some work done.
Yeah. I mean, I had too much work, so I would cut once a month just to get because all that work. Because I
Yeah.
also worked a job too
Hey, but
after school.
even from those times, you had a plan in mind. You're like, I'm not gonna fail. I'm gonna use my time wisely. I'm gonna get the best out of this situation. I mean, that's
And
just,
I'm getting to Spelman.
and I'm gonna get to Spelman eventually. I might get to Harvard, but I'm going to Spelman.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for sharing that. Vallejo is a it definitely, you can hear by our camaraderie. It definitely is a source for motivation, inspiration, a source for a platform or springboard to bigger and better things, because of the competition level, because of the culture, because of the diversity, because of the like she said, Miss Cheney, pushing her and driving her, the librarian pushing her and driving her, feeding her books. We had that type of exposure and that type of mentorship at our schools, in our cities, especially if you were a black student from some of the black teachers at our school. So that's what helped drive us in those areas, and helps keep Vallejo relevant in terms of producing high quality talent. We got some work to do. The city got some work to do for sure. But athlete wise, entertainment wise, and business wise, Vallejo continues year after year to pump out high quality talent in those areas. Got a few more questions for you. We just talked about Vallejo. We just talked about his music. You went to the ATL, so I know you were in the mecca of music down there in the ATL, but you came from a place where the mecca of music in the Bay Area is from Vallejo, California. You also was born and raised in Oakland, a huge
I can
music.
tell you stories about that
It's a
too.
huge music factory there as well. But we're gonna keep it on the V. So it's time for another installment of the V list. Yay. All right. So, like I've said before on previous episodes, when I first went to TSU in 1992, I took Mac Dre with me. I took E40 with me. Nobody on my campus knew who those individuals were. I took the clique with me. You just mentioned running into them. By the way, I'm a let me say this. That Church's Chicken that you worked at, I remember that Church's Chicken. I don't know. I know the building's still there. I don't know if it's still Church's Chicken. Right across the street from Rich Arts. I used to go to Rich Arts to get my hair
Yes.
cut, right?
Yep,
And
right across the street.
yeah,
Yep.
and they had a
They
studio
had that
next
check
door.
cashing place.
They had a check
Mhm.
cash in place. They had a Sick with the Records had a studio next
Yep.
door. And then
Yep.
D Shot opened up his shop.
Yep.
Ty Uzi's right there, right there.
Yep.
Man, right in front of that shop. A real talk. At that light one day, you remember that car I used to drive in high school? I had the brown
You had a
car,
nice car too.
the convertible. Um, I had got my hair cut at Rich Arts, and I was getting in it, about to leave, and this big Suburban pulled up right next to me and stopped. It was right there by the light, and it was revving his engine. I looked up, and he was like, he rolled his window down. He's like, "Hey, I'll give you 3 G's for it right now." I was like, "What?"
What?
He's like, "I'll give you 3 G's for it right now." He talking about buying my car right now for 3 G's. My dad bought that car, man. My dad would whoop my tail if I sold him that car, man. I was like, "Nah," and now, you know who it was? It was
Who?
Be Legit. Be Legit was pulling up to the studio, and I was parked right there in front of it, and he was like, "Hey, I'll buy it right now."
Yeah, you did have a nice car though.
Yeah, but yeah, nah, that's my little fun story, my little fun fact. I don't know Be Legit like that, but that's the only interaction I ever had with him in my life. But anyway, that's a little side story. We're gonna get back into the V list. Here's a scenario, okay? You've helped one of your favorite high school graduates get into the Bay Area college of their choice, but they don't know anything about the culture. You have the task of introducing them to Bay Area culture through music. After doing some research on the culture, the student asked if you could recommend some artists from Vallejo for them to listen to. What 5 Vallejo based music artists are you recommending?
I gotta do 5?
You got to do 5.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's
Okay.
like, 35 or
Okay,
40
okay,
of
okay, okay. Okay, I have okay, um, so Imma do, of course, LaRussell because he's the latest, and I love him, and I love how he, like, inspires young people, and he does the concerts in his
them.
backyard.
Love LaRussell.
Mac Dre is a classic, and
Okay.
then, of course, E40, and then I love his, Sugar T from the V.
Clicked out me, Sugar T from the
Yes.
V.
And then, what's the singing cousin? Is it D-Shot? Who's
D
the singing cousin?
oh, Lavity.
Yes, I love Lavidi. I love the
Lavity
way he be oh, I love the way he be singing. I'm like,
in
"Ay."
your
But I'm from
city.
Oakland, so I can't, we cannot
Shout
go
out to
without
Lavity.
Too Short because back in the day when I used to go to elementary school at St. Elizabeth, he used to be selling his tapes out the trunk.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And then so I can't just keep it all the way, up there. And then we had all those guys used to come up to Holy Names to, get at the girls. What was the name? Why am I who used to be with Too Short?
Um, um,
Oh, oh my gosh.
was it a group?
Yep, it was a group. They used to always come up to was it the 415? The 415?
I don't know. I don't know.
They used to have this song called The Sideshow. Boom, boom, boom,
Oh,
boom, boom, boom,
were
boom,
they from
boom.
Palo Alto?
No, they were from, like, San Francisco. And then I forgot Shema used to listen to this one song, and we used to always go, like, the Get Low from San Francisco. I forgot that
Yeah,
group.
I
He
don't
used
know
to
if
always
that
play it. We used to
RBL, maybe
Yes,
RBL
yes,
posse,
RBO Posse.
RBL.
Yes. I don't smoke that.
Don't give me no Bama
Yeah,
weed.
no,
Don't
we
smoke that
yeah,
in a
yeah.
SFC.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
So those 5 from Vallejo, but they have to be well-rounded, so they have to get, the Too Short, RBL Posse, and I believe it's the 415. But
yeah.
yeah, because I remember that song is called The Sideshow. Now I'm gonna go listen to
For
that
sure,
after
I got to
this.
go listen to it too. So I gave you a challenging task, knowing that your musical cultural roots also come from Oakland a little bit, and you're bringing someone of your favorite college students, probably from the South somewhere, going to the Bay Area, and you had to introduce them to the culture through music. So I see why you threw some Oakland in there. I see why
Yeah,
you threw
but
some
no,
Too Short in there.
LaRussell right now, I like to always go to his Instagram page to
Yeah,
see what's going on. I'm not gonna lie, my sister put me on, because I was like, "Who's this dude?" Even my, bonus mom was like, "Who's that guy LaRussell? He bought everybody in the restaurant, food, and I like him." I was
yeah.
like, "You need to go listen to his music. He be putting on."
That's dope. Yeah, my cousin, I ain't gonna lie, my cousin, younger cousin, Lil Vince, man, put me on. Shout out to Trippy V. Yeah, he put me on a
Trippy
LaRussell.
V.
That's my
Mhm.
cousin. He that's just his Instagram handle. He put me on a LaRussell about maybe 3 years ago. But LaRussell had already had probably 20 albums out by the time I found out about him. He probably, I think he on album like 38 or 39 or something.
Wow. But he
Yeah.
has so much good energy. He just is so fun. I'm just like, this one.
A lot of energy. Love his, his mood, his thought, his mindset. Very very good humanitarian. Like I like that about him,
Yes.
his spirit, humanitarian spirit. I really like that about him. Very mature. You could tell that he, as at one time, maybe wasn't as mature, and he's learned to mature
Yeah.
himself. And he's very open and honest about his flaws too.
Yeah.
He like, I ain't perfect. I'm still trying, just like you are.
Yeah.
I
I
love
love
that,
it. I wish
man.
you would come down south to do a little concert.
I
I'd
know. I
come
keep
down here.
I keep thinking now. He has put on a couple of shows. I think he's done something in conjunction with other artists. He
Mhm.
toured with T Pain a little bit, so I think he's been around the South a little bit. And I can't wait till he comes down here. I'm trying to. I often think, how can I find a way to get LaRussell to come to Nashville and do a show? I'm sure
You can probably just reach out. He seems like you could reach out. Like
there's a there's a
T-Pain
there's a culture
supposedly
there's a culture of
T
people. I'm sorry, there's a culture of people here in Nashville who really mess
yeah.
with Russell. I mean, I'm in the music game and I follow a lot of people that's do music here in Nashville, and I know for a fact they mess with Russell. If he showed up, they would be out.
Yeah, because I know T-Pain, he lives down the street somewhere around here. Because one time we were in the store, and I just remember I had saw a show, and then he was talking about how he messed up, but you know how his wife is good to him, and I remember I was like, but I was like, "I'm not gonna be like, 'Hey!'"
For
I was
real.
like,
T Pain. T Pain's a
yeah,
dude. I love T Pain's music though.
I
I,
love him
I
too.
always have
Mhm.
since Epiphany, man. Ever since that album, I like T Pain.
Yeah.
So all right, so yours was your Vallejo playlist was E40,
I said
Mac Dre,
E40, Mac Dre, The
the
Click.
Click. Well, so
I
okay,
said Lavidi, and then I
Lavitti.
said, Sugar T from the V.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we throw Too Short and
Too
RBL in there
Short.
for to round out the Bay Area culture.
Mhm,
That's dope,
mhm.
me. So, with all due respect, Amore, you get the opportunity to create that list the way you want to. I'll let you modify it. You threw an Oakland artist in there. I ain't mad. You threw a San Francisco artist in there. I ain't mad. That's part of the culture of the Bay. There are big brothers and sisters or whatever, cousins, whatever you want to
Yes.
call us. But dope. I appreciate you participating. That was fun, and I love the fact that you introduced two artists from Vallejo that likely don't get introduced much often in this segment, if not at all. Sugar T has been mentioned once or twice, but nobody's mentioned Levitti. Me and Levitti share the same last name, so
Oh,
Levitti King, man, shout out on our high school graduation shirt. That Vallejo Apache shirt with all the names on the back. Mine and his is right next to each other. I thought that was
oh,
pretty dope. But shout out to Levitti, man. I love the way he sings as well.
yeah,
Miss that sound, with the click, man.
yeah. No, like, another thing that people don't know about me is, I mean, yeah, I do talk a lot of shit. Like, if you really know me, I do talk a lot of shit. But I like to, I tell a lot of jokes, but I
Hmm.
always think to myself, like, how did he get into the singing game? Was he sitting on the steps one day and he was singing and his voice was like, "Yo, you should be in this song." I
You
just
know,
think
he probably at
but,
church, man. He
yeah, I was
got
about to say
he
church.
probably started singing at church when he's a little kid, and it was like, we got to put some. If you think about it, when 40 came out, there was still like Nate Dogg was starting to come out. There was some
Yeah,
in down in Southern Cal, and there was some singers that was starting to kind of croon in the hip hop space a little bit. And I guess 40 and them was like, we need us one. We got one sitting on the porch
yeah.
right here. You know.
Right, because I mean, I love see, I always love to tell kids because I love, history and I love hip hop, so you'll find that on my YouTube too, 12 lessons on hip hop and history.
Oh, that's dope.
Besides, that, is that, like, E40 was in the band, at was it Grambling, right?
Yeah, at Grambling.
Yeah, and I
Sure
think
was.
also Too Short used to be in the band at Fremont High School, so,
Mhm.
again, yes, they rap, but they still have musical skills, and that's how it led them to, the music.
if you are a high school student or a middle school student and you are in the band or you are considering being a band or you're considering leaving the band because you want to do other things, don't underestimate the power of what being in the high school band can do for you, whether it's a marching band or like a jazz band or a rock band, whatever. There are so many artists that are now doing their thing professionally and earning a great living and enjoying what they're doing because they never stopped doing what they love. They started with music as a kid, kept it up through middle school and high school, and now doing what they love professionally. Too Short and E40 are one of those. I played in the band myself when I was, a kid. I started playing the trumpet when I was in third grade. I played all the way through ninth grade. Only reason why I stopped is because I wanted to play sports. But when I went at Vallejo High School, sports was very competitive, but so was the band. And
Yep.
the band instructor told me it's one or the other. I was first chair trumpet player at Vallejo Junior, so I would have been probably first chair trumpet player at Vallejo Senior. He was like, it's either band or sports, but it can't be both. I was like, well, I got to stop playing, stop playing the trumpet then.
And I hate how people try to say that you can't do 2 things, but, I understand with the time commitment. Um, I actually come from a musical family. My, grandfather was he helped start the jazz era of Singapore. So
Hmm.
he was a saxophone player,
Hmm.
um, and he also played the violin and all that kinda stuff. I One of the things I wanna say too is, yeah, don't give up your artistic thing. I actually used to do art for 16 years. I didn't do any drawing or art when I became a teacher because I thought that's what I needed to do in order to do a career, and I
Hmm.
finally picked it back up.
You
So,
are you drawing now?
I have to get inspired,
Mm.
but I
Well,
just thought that was, like, crazy that I didn't do it for 16 years when I
yeah. I mean, we don't know what we don't know until we learn about it, and that's what we pay it forward and educate the younger folk. Like,
Mhm.
don't let this happen to you. If you have a dream, go for it. If it's something you want to
Yeah,
do at 13, start at 13. Don't wait till you
right,
become 30 or 40 to start doing it, or don't think it's impossible for you. Go ahead and start pursuing it. I
right.
think that's great. Thank you for that. For that reminder to pursue that. Pursue that thing that's in your heart. All right, we're wrapping it up. We're getting toward the end. Got a couple more questions for you.
Mhm.
Speaking of recommending, what would you say to a room of high school seniors, most of whom have college acceptance offers from both HBCUs and PWIs, about getting the most from either experience that they choose?
I'd say you have to think long term. And when I say long term, about your future, meaning your life. So don't just think about the job or, hey, do I have just a scholarship to get through this? Right. You have to think about your life, right? Which school will get you into the network and relationships that you can't get into otherwise? Meaning, if you are not in the circle of people that are CEOs, but you can go to this school that will be CEOs, well, then go to that school.
Mhm.
Also, go to the school where the people will look out for you for life,
Mhm.
not because it's a name brand school or you think is a name brand school, because you will make pivots in your life and those relationships will be the thing that will sustain you. Um, if you do go to a school, maybe because you're pushed or whatever, where you do, go to a school and it's not your dream school, make sure that you get involved. You get into clubs, you maybe join a sorority or fraternity, but you intentionally build relationships with your peers as well as your professors. So those relationships will sustain you.
Mhm.
That would be my advice. The reason why I am able to pivot into all kinds of things is because of my relationships.
Relationships cannot be downplayed at all. They're everything. The reason why I'm able to host this podcast and bring on the guests that I have is because of relationships that I've built with them and maintained with them over the years. Whether there are, the interactions were few and far between or plentiful, building relationships and maintaining relationships is important. Like Amour said, going to a place that is going to support you, support your needs, support your dreams, a place that is, that you can see your future out of. Don't go to the name brand school necessarily. I mean, if that's your dream choice, go there, but don't go there just because that school has a brand that you're familiar with. Find out
Mhm.
what it is your passions are. Find out, what type of people you want to be around. Find out what type of lifestyle you want to live or be introduced to. That's going to have a big impact on
Mhm.
where you go to school. I mean,
Mhm.
I decided to go to school myself, and Amore did as well. We were from California, the Bay Area, but we decided to go to school in the South. And
Mhm.
there are no HBCUs in California. Um, Although we were exposed to them as high school students briefly, um, we had to make the decision to leave our families, to leave what we knew, to leave what was comfortable, to leave a lifestyle that we were familiar with, and go to a place that was totally foreign. Bugs
Mhm.
this damn big,
Flying.
bigger than that, flying around, jumping, like, what I mean. Totally different lifestyle, but it enriched me so much, and I'm sure it enriched
Mhm.
a great deal as well. So if you got a chance to go to an HBCU, I
Yes.
strongly encourage you to take that chance. If you desire to go to PWI, there's nothing wrong with that pathway as well. Go to an HBCU and then go experience a PWI. But don't
Got one chance.
underestimate and don't undervalue the experience you will get from an HBCU. Is
Right.
unmatched. Is
Right.
unmatched.
Because it will sustain you, and I will say, look now, right? My husband, I met him when I was 18 or 19.
Hmm.
We weren't dating then, but I always liked him.
Hmm.
We reconnected when, I don't know, when I was, like, my 30s or whatever, we're married, like, that's
Did he
I
he
met
went
him
to
when I
more?
was
Did he go to
18 or
Morehouse?
19. Hmm?
Did he go to Morehouse?
He did, and I have our first picture when we, from Freaknik.
A freak Nick, a spell house wedding. Now, did you see yourself on that freak Nick video on Netflix or Hulu, whatever's
No,
on?
but you could tell who went you could tell, all the Spelman College girls, because I mean, again, we're covered, we
Yeah,
weren't, like, you could tell
you
who's
can tell the
from we
difference
could we always say you could tell who the locals are versus the kids who are in
for
college.
sure.
I mean, it's a clear,
Clear
thing,
distinction
but
there, but no,
yeah, but if you're
that's dope.
yeah, I was gonna say again, like, again, we know that not everyone could go to HBCU because a lot of them are expensive, but if you do have to go to a PWI, my suggestion is that you get involved in clubs, that you join your Black Student Union, that you join a fraternity or a sorority, but you intentionally make connections with your Black peers, as well as your professors, because those relationships will sustain you. If not, then you're wasting your time
Yeah,
and you're just
yeah.
gonna have a degree.
Yeah. And absolutely, people are in your corner. When you go to HBCU, you can have relationships with peers and with teachers and professors that will last a lifetime as long as those professors or you are still alive. Like they still
Yep.
answer your calls, or still give you advice, still go out to eat with
Yes.
you, and
Yes.
all the things. You can't
Yeah.
really do that at a PWI.
No, you can't.
Not so fluidly anyway. It
No.
might
Mm-mm.
cost you to do that at a PW. Like you might have to
Right.
pay out your pocket to have that meeting.
Right.
All right. So with that last question addressed, all right. This is one more fun segment. All right.
Okay.
I typically don't do 3 segments with a guest, so this is a first. We in season 3, so Amour Carthy gonna get 3 segments. We did the V list. What is it about Vallejo? And now um, that last question addressed, you spent time in the college cities, or you spent time attending college in the cities of Atlanta, Philadelphia, and being a native of the Bay Area. All right. So you lived in the Bay, you lived in Philadelphia, and you lived in Atlanta. So it's time to play a round of Who Got It. All right. right, I hope you're ready for this one.
Uh-oh.
My sister, being from the Bay Area, your undergraduate years were in Atlanta, you currently live there. You lived and worked in Philadelphia. So we need to know who got it. Not everyone has been to the Bay Area. Not everyone has been to Atlanta. Not everyone has spent time in Philadelphia. So it's on you to educate the people out there. All right. So who got it? The Bay Area, Atlanta, or Philadelphia? Who got the best food?
The best food? The Bay Area.
Why? So the South, a lot, people would beg to differ when you talk about Atlanta. I don't know much
I'm a
about
I'm a
Philadelphia,
I'm
but
a
why
I'm
you
a
say
I'm
that?
a Imma tell Imma tell you why, and maybe it's because of my roots. The Bay Area has the best food because they have the best Chinese food. They got the best Filipino food. They got the best Mexican food. We got the best Thai food. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I said that. So they don't have those best things over here in Atlanta. Do they have good food in Atlanta? Yes, but it's not like I can't get like Dungeness crab over here like I could get in the Bay Area. I can't get a good burrito. Like, I
yeah,
mean, that's
burritos
my
hurt.
roots. I grew
Yeah,
up in Oakland. I'm talking about like fresh chopped salsa, like
hmm,
fresh like juice from, like those Mexican taquerias. Like,
yeah.
I grew up in Fruitville, okay? Originally, like, no, can't nobody do it out here like that.
That's dope. I agree with that 100%. I was wondering where you was going with it, the reason why, but when you start mentioning all the different, the different nationalities and the different food types, absolutely, man. The Bay Area is so diverse in its cultures. So when you said the best, Thai food, the best, Mexican food, the best Filipino food, like I mean, they have those places and those restaurants all over the South too. I mean, I'm in
Yeah,
Nashville. There's Mexican restaurants here. There's not very many Filipino restaurants, but there's a couple.
yeah,
But it's not like the Bay Area. Like it's the
yeah,
best of the
yeah,
best out there. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
People
yeah,
have moved from the West, and especially of different nationalities,
yeah.
Asian nationalities, brown cultures have moved
Mhm.
from the West to the South and brought their stuff. But the origination of it is on the West Coast. So that's where the
Yes.
best food is at.
I mean
All
I
right,
mean,
dope.
now, but if you wanna get a hoagie, you can go up to Philly, you know what I mean?
you
And
know,
the best Indian,
cheesesteak.
you could get samosas. You could get samosas
Hmm.
in the, like, a grocery store on, like, 44th and Chestnut in Philly, like,
See,
for $1, you know what I mean? Like, that's where
see,
you got that at.
that's dope. So
Chicken
I don't know nothing
wings,
about
A
Philly, but
ATL.
now I know. So you're gonna go to ATL? Where we going to Magic City? Or we getting lemon pepper wings?
Yes.
What we do?
Yes. ATL.
Lemon pepper Lou out here.
Look, and then for water ice, you going up to Philly.
What water ice? What's water ice?
It's like shave ice with,
Okay.
yeah, with, like, fruit.
See, now that's
Yeah,
a different cultural term. Water
yeah,
ice. Like I never heard of that before.
yeah, water ice.
And the way you say it too, water ice. Sound
Yeah,
like
you got that joint, yeah,
with
water
the joint,
ice. You got that
the
water
joint of water
ice.
ice. That's dope. All right. Who? The Bay Area got the best food. All right, who got it? The Bay Area, Atlanta, or Philadelphia? Who has the best music scene?
I mean, Atlanta. I mean, what we talk about, there's no comparison.
Heck
But,
yeah.
I mean, now when I say now, because, like, everything shifted, because when I was growing up, like, you could go to San Francisco, you could go to, like, Berkeley for live music,
Hmm.
but then even when I was living in Philly, like, at Temple, like, they had good live music, but then Atlanta has become the scene, like, you get like, all the music is here, you know what I mean? But I can't really say Atlanta is a place for music that's being produced, like, for streaming and all that.
Hmm.
But I still feel like you can go to any of those cities and get good music. I can't say like one is the best, but
Yeah.
d- yeah, I mean, you still could go to any city, but
That's a
you
tough
could,
one.
yeah, you could, because you could still go to Philly, and you could still go to places in like West Philly or North Philly and go to clubs and get live music.
Hmm.
Same for Atlanta. I haven't really no, so it would be Atlanta and Philly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a tough one, to be honest with
Mhm.
you, because the places that
Yeah.
you've lived in,
Yeah.
Philadelphia is a hotbed, like you said, live
Yeah.
music. You got Jill
Yeah.
Scott, you got the Roots, you got
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
many different
Yeah.
artists of all different types coming out of
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Atlanta, you got hip hop, R&B heavy. You
Yeah.
got production that's
Everybody.
heavy.
Yes.
Young and old artists coming out of
Yes.
Atlanta doing their thing, like all the way
Yeah.
from Babyface all the way down to Young Dro and whoever else you want to name.
Yeah.
In the Bay Area, we got so much music that comes
That's
out
what
of
I'm
the Bay
saying, so
Area,
it's
but
kinda like how you could
you
so
can't go
anywhere you
wrong.
could
Kind of.
yeah, you good anywhere,
It
you know what
depends
I
on what
mean?
mood you in. You in a hyphy mood,
Right.
go to the Bay.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
some deep, heavy bass, go to ATL. You want some
Yeah.
live jazz, you want to groove a little bit, go to Philly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's up. All right, who got it? The Bay Area, Atlanta, or Philly? Which area, which city is the most diverse?
In my mind, all these places are diverse. It's just more segregated, in the South. They're just
Hmm.
in certain pockets. Like, you come to Atlanta, the Russians are in Buckhead, the Koreans are in, Duluth, and the Chinese folks are in Duluth.
Hmm.
The Black people are in South, Fulton County. The Indians are in Alpharetta.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's still diverse, or it's just you just got to know where to go. And the Brazilians are up in Woodstock.
Hmm.
You just got to know. You know,
Yeah.
you
So,
know.
so are you saying Atlanta's diverse, or the Bay is diverse, or Philly the most diverse?
No, if you want to get the most diverse, I would say like it's still the Bay Area.
Hmm.
But if you wanna get the most where you can get most Black culture, it's gonna be Atlanta, and it's
For
gonna be
sure.
Atlanta for me, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I could walk and
Absolutely.
see a Black mayor, I could walk and see every kind of celebrity wanna see,
Hmm.
politician or whatever. Like, my husband yesterday was at a conference, he's kicking it with Yo Alpha, guy, Roland Martin, you
Yeah,
know?
Brother Martin.
Yep, so, I
Hmm.
mean, Atlanta is just when they say it's unreal, like, you can run into everybody,
Hmm.
like, everybody.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those places, man. Atlanta's a very like you said, diverse in terms of segregated diverse. It's kind of like Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah.
I interviewed my homie Dorsey West. We went to school together at TSU, but he's from the Shy, and he talked
Mhm.
about the diversity there and how it's very segregated, very big
Yep.
city. Every nationality and race you could think of, they just in pockets. You
Yep.
know,
Exactly. Yep.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
dope. All right.
Mhm.
So, who got it? The Bay, Atlanta, or Philadelphia? What city has the best overall lifestyle, family living?
Definitely Atlanta. When I say Atlanta, I'm talking about the burbs. I live
And
in
it don't have to
Roswell.
be
I'm
family
bougie.
living, just lifestyle, period.
Atlanta. I mean, like, Atlanta. And I'm
A
saying
town
Atlanta
down.
because for the prices and everything, I'm saying everything has gone up, but the prices, like, when people ask me, "Am I gonna go home?" No, I can't live like I live in Atlanta. No, I love it. Like, I
Yeah.
love it. I could live a nice lifestyle here. I can't live like this on, our income over there. I can't, like, I feel good. I feel good. Like,
Yeah.
we definitely can live like this over here. Philly, no, you'd have to live in the burbs. I mean, Philly's cool, but it got a little dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
No, Atlanta. I love Atlanta. That's
yeah.
why I love Atlanta.
The A is where it's at, man. I love Atlanta. I lived in Duluth for a while, for about 3.5 years. So as soon as you said, the what nationality lives out there, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I used to
Yep.
shop at their stores and
The
and
H
everything
Mart.
at the H Mart, man.
Yep.
I bought some stuff from there I ain't never seen before anywhere. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
the
love
heck
the H Mart.
they got
Yeah.
this? They selling
Yep.
this? What kind of fish
Yep.
is that?
Yep. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love Atlanta. There's just like everything here. I mean, it's whatever you want. Like I said, when we live in the burbs, but if you want to go to festivals and everything, Atlanta culture or Black culture,
Mhm.
you go into whatever. Like, so I go into Spelman, go to the Christmas concert. I want to go into a festival. I go into Atlanta. You know what I mean? I want to, just farm to table, like, or whatever. I go out to the farm, down the
Mhm.
street. Like, I want to go to an Indian store. Like, I go up the street.
Mhm. There's
It's
so
all
much to
here.
do there, yeah,
Yeah.
and you can do so much and not feel like you're in the same city.
Yeah.
You go back home, but you feel like you visited a different part of a different city or a different culture just because of how they're segregated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's a dope part of it. Like you still get to see everybody, and everybody kind
Yeah.
of goes back to their own
Yeah.
place after when the lights go
Yeah.
out.
Yep. Mhm.
All right, last one. Last
Mhm.
one. Who got it? The
Yeah.
Bay Area, Atlanta, or Philadelphia? Which city has the best grouping of colleges and universities?
I mean, Atlanta. I mean I
Just
mean, it's
because Spelman is there?
no, because the AUC. So Atlanta
Okay.
University is the only cluster like this in the world of HBCUs, or, black colleges, period, in the world.
Hmm.
So the cluster of Morehouse, Spelman, Clark Atlanta, Morris Brown, the ITC, I call it the religion school. There is no place in the world where there's five colleges that educate black students like this in the world, period. Name it. You can't.
Hmm.
The only cluster of colleges that is like this in the world, but it doesn't educate solely black people, is the Scripps colleges in California.
Hmm.
Um, if we even break this down even further, um, the AUC, you have other schools that are around in the Atlanta metro. You have Georgia Tech, which is an amazing school. You have Georgia State, which is another amazing school. You have Emory, which is another amazing school. You
Hmm.
have Oglethorpe University. You have SCAD. All of these schools, if I was a kid trying to go to school, I come to ATL because all of these kids interact, and it is amazing here.
Hmm.
Like, these kids party together, do everything together. I mean, ATO is it.
ATL is a huge college city. It's known for other things. It's not really known on the forefront as a college
Yeah,
city.
at
But,
at all.
I mean, when you think about all the different universities that surround that city, like you said, the AU Center, that's five colleges alone, just right there in a
Mhm,
half a mile radius of one another. And
mhm,
then you have Georgia Tech, and you got Georgia and Georgia State and Georgia Southern, and like you said, SCAD and all these other different colleges and universities that are down there. I can imagine it being a very fun place to go to school.
mhm.
As no matter what nationality you are,
Yep.
you can. I mean, I don't know how many times white people ventured over to the AU Center to kick it with y'all, but I'm sure
We
y'all
go
was
over to
able to
Georgia
go,
Tech.
yeah, y'all to go to Georgia Tech and kick it with them. No?
Yep. Yep.
So very,
Yep.
very diverse experience, for black students at the HBCUs of Atlanta. And
Mhm,
a cluster now where I went to school at Tennessee State University, not nowhere near the cluster that the AU Center is, but
mhm,
um, on John A. Merritt Boulevard, off of 28th Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee, there is Tennessee State University, there is
mm.
Meharry Medical College, and there is Fisk
Ah.
University. Right up,
Oh, okay.
they're all on the same street. They're in walking distance from one another. You can
Oh.
walk from TSU to Fisk in about 12 minutes, and Meharry is immediately, like really, almost immediately across the street from Fisk.
Oh.
So yeah, they're very close by. They don't have the same. We don't have the same unity that the AU Center has,
Mhm,
because of we're not, the AU Center, these campuses are literally, the buildings are right next to one another in the AU
mhm,
Center. They're not, it's
mhm,
not the same. So it's not quite the same. Meharry Medical College, most of those are postgraduate students that are going to get their doctorate,
mhm,
in medicine. So they don't do a whole lot. They don't come out that much because they're deep into their studies.
mhm,
And then Fisk is a private university. It's a HBCU, but it's a private HBCU, and it's a very, very small campus. So
mm,
those students are very tight knit with one another.
mhm,
They do interact with TSU students from time to time, especially in the fraternities and the sorority circles. Do interact quite a bit, but the student
mhm.
body, TSU mess with TSU. Fisk
That's
stick with
crazy.
Fiskites, Meharry stick with Meharry until there's a big event, you know. Usually around TSU homecoming, you'll probably see a little bit of everybody come
So
right
you
up the
guys
street.
So you guys don't take classes with like so in the AUC, like a Morehouse student, you could take classes at Spelman. So this is why I always tell like don't think that you won't see guys in your classes. You
Right.
could take classes at Clark, Spelman, Morris Brown, and the little religious schools. So
The little,
like I took a class over at Morehouse, you
I
know.
love that about the AU. If that's a thing, I don't know about it. There
Mhm,
probably is some disciplines where
mhm,
you have to go to Meharry Medical College to take this particular class. There
mhm,
might be a couple of classes where a Fiskite might have to go to TSU to take
mhm.
a class here or there, but for the most part, I don't know there to be a program that meshes and merges the two like that. I think that's unique and dope in itself, because it's like
Yeah.
you get accepted in one school, but you get the experience of four schools or five schools.
Yeah, no, we like, Spelman calls Morehouse, they're brothers, and we call Clark, that's our cousin, Morris
Hmm.
and the Morris brother. We're all like cousins. Like we literally we act like family.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
even
that's
when we play games against each other, we might lose or whatever, but we still hug each other, act all crazy. We act just like family.
it's still
It's
family
wild.
because you're gonna
Mhm.
see each other in 5 minutes.
Yeah. We literally like, "Oh, hey."
Right. You're gonna see each other again as soon as it's over. So that's dope. All
Mhm.
right. So the best grouping of colleges goes to the ATL. Shout out to the ATL. There's a bunch of great colleges in California, in the Bay Area. There's a bunch of great colleges in Philadelphia, I'm certain, particularly the ones that she attended. But the ATL is no other experience like it, especially for HBCU experience. Well, I gotta throw TSU up there, but the AU Center.
At
Uh,
AU
you
Center.
that can't be beat. I don't care. I don't care how proud you are of your HBCU.
That's
The
right.
the AU Center experience is probably unmatched.
It is. It is. Come visit.
For sure, for sure. All right, we are down to the very end. I have one more question for you, more, and then I'm gonna give you the platform. But what has been the greatest challenge and the greatest joy in your life's journey?
The greatest joy, so I like to quote 2 Chains. I woke up,
Two
saw I'm
chain.
winning.
Two
You know
chain.
what I
That's
mean?
my
So
dude.
I'm
I like two
thankful
chain.
for every single day. You know, I one thing that I do wanna know, I wanna shout out my husband, because if it wasn't for his support, um, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm, doing and doing in my business. So without his support, I would not have been able to soar to this extent. So I'm thankful for his support. He just lets me do whatever. So I'm happy. And he capes for me. So I
Mhm.
love that.
That's dope.
Um, and then the biggest challenge is, I mean, I'm always just thankful and just always I always have the mantra that this too shall pass.
Mhm.
So whenever things get tough, I'm just like, this is temporary. This will be over. Like, and this is going to be a learning lesson, even no matter how difficult. Because if I really told y'all the stories and all the stuff that I've been through, most people probably would have, killed themselves. Really, not trying to be funny.
Mhm.
But again, because of my faith, and then just understanding that this too shall pass, and this is going to be a learning lesson, and that not everybody gets to have these opportunities. I'm in awe of my life. One young lady wrote on her Facebook, what do you manifest? And I said, I manifested my whole entire life. I have a process. Ever since I was young, I, you know, write down what I want, I
Mhm.
pray for it, and I have a plan and I execute it. And I've done that for every single thing in my life. It may take months, it may take years, it may take decades, but I've gotten every single thing that I've ever written down, prayed for, wanted.
Wow. That's amazing. And the power of the testimony of writing things down and believing, having faith in yourself and having faith in those visions and those dreams and following through until fruition or until completion. I think that is very commendable, very amazing. Um, think we might have lost Amour for a brief moment, but that's all right because this could be edited out. But I think that's very amazing, Amour. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you feeding into us. I appreciate you expressing all that you've expressed with us today to help us understand that your future is not tied to your current circumstances. Your future is tied to your passions and your dreams and your goals and your visions. So start pursuing them early on in life so that you too can get to the place in life where you want to go. If you want to attend a college or a university, be sure to consider all HBCU, I mean, all educational experiences, not just PWIs or not just HBCUs. Find the place that is right for you. We want to encourage you to find the place that is right for you. While we do highly encourage HBCUs, because that's the experience that her and I have had, definitely encourage a high quality education, the highest quality education you can afford to receive and the one that is going to suit your desires, your dreams, your goals, and your future the best. I hope that you got something out of this episode. I hope that you are inspired by this episode. Keep in mind that this is season 3, so we will be bringing to you some new content. We are looking to expand and grow in season 3. We'll be looking to expand and grow a couple of positions in a production side and administrative side to help this channel flourish and prosper. As well, we'll be seeking out opportunities for support, financial support in terms of sponsorship, segment sponsors, title sponsors, show sponsors. So be on the lookout for those things. Again, thank you for being here. Each episode airs Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for all my people out there on the West Coast. And I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. We'll see you on another episode of Revisit Your Dreams. One love. We out.
I earned my bachelor's. I earned my bachelor's from Spelman. It was a history degree with concentration in Latin American study with a minor in secondary education. I was actually the only one from Spelman during 1997 to go into high school history teaching,
Mm.
just from my whole entire 400 person class from Spelman. And then I went to Temple, earned a master's in African American studies, and then I went to Harvard and earned a master's in ed policy and management.